The pioneering work to restore mussel beds to the Hauraki Gulf is to be replicated in the Upper South Island, where commercial fishing decimated stocks last century. Revive Our Gulf is moving dozens of tonnes of green-lipped mussels from the Coromandel farms to new homes on the seafloor north of Auckland, where they act as environmental superheroes cleaning up the water. And now other community groups in the Marlborough Sounds and Tasman Bay are to follow their lead. Joanna Mackenzie went to see the operation in action.
With dawn just breaking over the Mahurangi Harbour, just south of Warkworth, work has already begun to shift 10 tonnes of mussels from their overnight storage tanks. Marine scientist Karina Sims-Smith, who's coordinating the project for Revive Our Gulf, says they have to be really careful about biosecurity.
So when they arrived last night, they went into the freshwater tanks and they've had to sit there for an hour and a half to make sure that any possible fragments of attached pests are killed in the fresh water. The mussels themselves are much hardier. They can just close up and they won't get affected by the fresh water as much as the pests. And then we put them in the seawater so that they're not stressed overnight.
The mussels, donated by the North Island Mussel Company, are then lifted by truck and crane onto barges ready to be dropped into the water. It's a short ride out into the middle of the Mahurangi Harbour, where a team of volunteers shovel the mussels into the water at a carefully selected location. Dr. Sims-Smith says as the mussels drop to the seabed, amazing things start to happen.
So once they hit the bottom, they'll open up and start breathing again and probably take a bit of a rest because they've been out of the water for a while, and then they'll start sensing their environment and crawling around, and they like to find one another and clump together.
The original Hauraki Gulf mussel beds covered 1,200 square kilometres of the sea floor, but were almost fished to extinction in the first half of the 20th century. Revive Our Gulf and University of Auckland scientists have been studying the effects of reintroducing the beds, and the results are impressive. One tiny mussel is able to filter and clean the equivalent of one full bathtub of seawater in a single day, create nurseries for young fish and stabilise the seabed. Peter van Kampen, who's out helping shovel mussels, says while their effort won't be enough to get the mussel beds back to their former glory or fix pollution, it's a start.
Is the amount of mussels that we're putting in at the moment enough to do it? Probably not, but it's a start. And once we kind of understand how to better restore and how to encourage natural recruitment from the restored beds or to the restored beds, hopefully we can get that happening within the Hauraki Gulf.
University of Auckland marine biologist Andrew Jeffs, who's been tracking the effects of the mussel bed restoration and helping the South Island groups, says it's a pioneering project and it's inspiring the Marine Farmers Association of Marlborough Sounds and a group from Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology to follow suit.
There is strong community interest in the Marlborough Sounds and also in Tasman Bay, and we're pretty close to launching with putting mussels back into those areas on an experimental basis. So within the next year we'll see activity happening in those areas.
Meanwhile, the work in the Hauraki Gulf will continue, with the next 10 tonnes of mussels due to be delivered to the Mahurangi Harbour this Thursday. For Checkpoint, called Joanna Mackenzie aho.